Flagpole cracker with Magnolia. Housekeeping.
Well, I'm back in the car and headed to Ashland, Pennsylvania. That's because today is our meetup event. And we're going to the Pioneer Tunnel Coal Mine Tour. Once there, we're going to meet up with a few individuals. We're going to do the coal mine tour and hopefully be able to do the steam train ride as well. I do have some driving to do, so I'm going to include a little driving montage. But before that, I do need to grab myself some breakfast. So you'll probably see me eating that at some point on the way down. Once there, we're going to pick up with the video and have a good time today. If you want to join us for this event and do this coal mine tour with us, all you got to do is hop in the car and come along with me. So we got our food, and now you're going to watch me devour it in a few blinks of an eye. The hash brown was a little bit hot, so I think I could have eaten a little bit faster, but after eating all that food, I shouldn't have to eat again for at least another hour. But let's get continuing down the road. All right, so after the nice drive down here, we got to see some beautiful fall foliage. We have arrived here at the Pioneer Tunnel Coal Mine Tour, and we do have a nice group of people out here today to do the mine tour with me. And of course, we have some other locations we'll be checking out today as well. We're gonna head over there, show you who's with us, do a brief introduction, grab our tickets for the mine tour, and then head inside. So let's see who is here today with us for our October 4th meetup event. Okay, so we do have everyone here that is for the meetup today, and I first want to thank each and every one of you for coming out. This has been a heck of a year, everyone knows, not for good reasons usually. The events were supposed to take place in the springtime, and with everything that happened, everything got pushed back. Our Carlisle Meetup, which I was looking forward to the most, I wasn't able to attend, but did see the videos of everyone who was there, so I do want to thank you guys for going into that event, even though I wasn't able to attend, and for documenting it. And this one was supposed to be obviously Ricketts Glen State Park, where they have 20 waterfalls. Well, we're in kind of almost like a drought right now, so there's no rain, no waterfalls. It's just dry cliffs. And even though some people would like to see that, I didn't want to disappoint anyone. I figured we could reschedule that for the springtime. And most of you guys voted on Pioneer Tunnel Coal Mine Tour. So we are here today. We're going to learn about coal mining history. They supposedly have a steam train ride that's supposed to be operating as well, so it's kind of a 2-in-1 location. And then later on, as I mentioned, as a bonus location, we could head to Centralia, which is famous for the underground mine fire. Over there, there is the graffiti highway, which is buried, but there are parts of it that are still exposed. There's a building, an abandoned building in the woods, and pockets of steam coming out in a different part of town. So we could show you all that. And of course, down here in town is Maze Drive-In. It's one of the only restaurants here probably one of the best ones we've been to numerous times. So if anyone wants to grab lunch or dinner or vice versa, we'll probably stop there at some point today. But I'm going to go around briefly, right to left, just share whatever you want to share. And that way people who are watching from home know who you are and maybe could subscribe to your channel or learn about the vicinity that people traveled from. So,
Journey with Jay on YouTube from Northeast PA.
I'm Randy, Emerald Sound Productions, down in the Boyertown area, Berks County. And that's my dad, John, with me.
Yeah, John from Bechtelsville, Pennsylvania.
okay.
RJ 78 Productions, Upper Bucks County area. You know me already.
Hey guys, Alan, Revenge of the Apocalypse, Carbon County.
Hi, Jamie Macon. I'm from Northampton, Pennsylvania, a little over an hour away from here, and I've got a YouTube channel with the same name, a lot of scenic driving videos, train videos, bike paths, and whatever other oddities I find.
Kathy, Random Outdoor Fun.
Dan from the Altoona area of Pennsylvania.
All the way from Altoona.
Matt MPG. I do exploration and sightseeing with kind of a more of a specialization of national and state parks, and I'm from the York area.
Take 3.
Yeah, right.
B. Sage from Spangling, Kentucky. Huge JPVideos fan, so that's why I'm here.
Chris Hirsch and Jamie Hirsch from Tamaqua. We are exploring with the coal crackers.
Steve, out and about science with Mr. G, and I'm here with my daughter Olivia today.
All right, so big special thanks to everyone here. Fantastic turnout for today's event. I'm excited for this event because I love coal mining, and this is one of the few places you could go to legally where you won't get in trouble for going underground in a coal mine. So I encourage you to check out their channels. I will try to provide links down below for everyone if they do have links available. You can see their perspective on today's events. And as you saw, people came from Altoona and all the way from Kentucky, which is amazing. So if you guys are ready, we're gonna get our tickets and go underground in the Pioneer Tunnel Coal Mine Tour. So we're inside to get our tickets here, and they have a little gift shop, which is quite nice. Some little artifacts, merchandise, shirts, and other things related to the coal mine region here, Ashland, Pennsylvania, and specifically Pioneer Tunnel Coal Mine. Even some drill bits hanging from the ceiling, which is pretty neat. And they're operating the steam train ride and the coal mine tour. So the way we're going to work it out is we're all going to get our tickets. Might be split up into 2 groups, but we're going to do both of them today, which I'm looking forward to. So should be a pretty good time. Okay, so it worked out pretty perfectly. We were able to have them accommodate us as one large group. I think it's about 17 of us. And we were able to buy the combo tickets for both the mine tour and the Lokie train ride. So we're going to be doing both of them as one large group, which is fantastic. We don't have to be split up. So 11:15, we're gonna be heading underground. After that, we're boarding that old steam Lokie. It's a narrow gauge locomotive. So it's gonna be kind of 2 events, 2 attractions at one location. So once I get ready to go inside, we will pick up the footage. But in the meantime, I'll give you just a couple brief looks at the area around here as to what you can expect to see if you decide to come here for yourself. Into the darkness. Now the unique thing about this mine tour, which is similar to Lance Ride number 9, is that it goes straight into the mountain. We don't go down, we don't descend. It is completely horizontal into the mountain in the background, which would be on top of us. And up there in the distance, you can see that spinning blade. That is the fan ventilation system to keep fresh air in the mine itself. All operating mine tours do have that, Lackawanna County and Lansford. And of course, we got some nice little items here, like the water tower, the Lokie barn, like a train shed, and the steaming locomotive itself, which looks pretty awesome. That's probably gonna be my favorite part, is taking the train ride, because I've seen it in other videos, and we're actually able to walk down the line and get some footage of it passing by as well. So that'll be pretty fun to get some different vantage points, both from outside and also riding on the open air train cars. And that is the reason they do call it a steam locomotive. It is full of hot water, coal, produces steam to power this beast of an engine. It reached full pressure.
That's a pressure valve for you. That kind of.
It gave me a jump.
Yeah, a little bit. But up there on top of you guys just saw, that's like a pressure relief valve. I'm assuming if this thing builds up too much pressure, it's kind of a safety feature to relieve that.
So that is called the Henry Clay #1. And we do have 1, 2, 3, 4 open air train cars and a little makeshift caboose, which looks pretty neat. And like I said, the cool thing about it is they are completely open air, so we're going to be able to, see and feel everything as the train's going by. I do know it's kind of a rough, rickety ride because it is narrow gauge rail, and the tracks are kind of warped and bent and really well used, so it won't be a most comfortable, smooth ride, but it'll be an experience nonetheless. So, really looking forward to that. Okay, so the electric locomotive has returned and we're going to be boarding now. All aboard. I actually want to get a back seat so I can see the mine as we go in. Like a zombie apocalypse. Yeah, so we got the back mine car and we're going to be going backwards into the mine. This will give us a perfect view.
So,
It's like a roller coaster. Remain seated. Ooh, jeez. Thank God for stabilization.
Jay, your light is actually helping me stuff.
Holy crap. I think I just lost my lunch.
Wow. Say cheese, everybody.
Man, that was a rough ride.
Man.
It's like we're going through solid bedrock right here. Almost vain. Like a human milkshake. Mammoth vein. Got knob and tube wiring up here. Jeez.
That's a little low.
Getting knocked around. Oh wow. West Mammoth Gangway.
This is where he leaves it when he doesn't wear it.
Looks like some garland back here. Is this abandoned?
Okay.
That was a ride. Wow.
Yeah. They,
Everyone okay?
so that was a heck of a ride down there. I don't know how bad that footage is.
Which it is an old mine. It was owned and operated by the Philadelphia Reading Coal and Iron Company. It had operated here from 1911 till 1931 when it shut down because of the Depression. We didn't reopen it again until 1962 when it was opened up as a tourist attraction. They came in, they found it was in perfect shape, and they figured that's what they could do for the community here, was open it up as a tourist attraction. So the mine was, I said it was employed by Philadelphia Reading Coal and Iron, 35 miners, 10 mules, and a handful of boys to do all the work down here. They were expected to get about 400 ton a day out of here in their working conditions. Now, what we're in right now is called a haulage way, and a haulage way runs in a north-south direction, bisecting all the veins of coal which run in the east-west direction. The reason we stop here is because we're at the Mammoth vein. This is the Mammoth vein of coal right here, or I should say this is the bottom rock. The vein of coal sits between the bottom rock and the top rock out the end of the mine motor. It's about 55 foot wide here. It'll run 400 feet to the surface, and it'll take a 2,000 foot drop on that same degree of pitch, base it out underneath the town of Ashland, and come up on a mountain about 2 miles north of here. No questions?
Do you have an Advil?
Okay, let's get out of here.
We're the entertaining group for you.
Yeah.
Hey, mushrooms! Hey, where's your mask? That was by far the bumpiest minecart ride I've ever taken. I have a migraine for weeks.
This is the best roller coaster ever.
So far,
How does this rate to loop the dips? I watched that the other day. It looked like you're riding a horse.
I take that any day of the week. Yeah, that was an incredible ride back here. Now we're going to do the walking portion.
There's nothing like the Mammoth vein to work with. This is the top rock here, and here's the bottom rock. It's sitting neatly in between there is the vein of coal, which is going to run at a 460-degree pitch where it's going to go 400 feet to the surface, follow that same degree of pitch down 2,000 feet, base it out under the town. Same thing. The only way you get anthracite coal out between top rock and bottom rock is you have to blast it out. You can't dig it out, shovel it out, or pick it out. And the way the miners did this in the old days was they drill, well, we still do it the same way today, but you drill a series of holes into the vein of coal, which we call shots. Okay, they grow in about 5 foot. And these old lads use what I'm holding my hand here on is called a gilker or an auger drill. They drilled 70% of this mine by hand in here by using this type of a drill. How, I have no idea. Because today you use pneumatic drills and everything else, and it's extremely difficult doing that. But anyway, what they would do is they would drill their series of shots into the vein of coal, and they would put in there in the old days what they called a squib charge. A squib charge is a charge about that long, about that thick around, filled with black powder and fused. They would insert the squibs inside those shot holes, take a tamping rod and tamp them on in, take some mud off the floor, pack it in there. Fuses are hanging out. They would light their fuses. They would cut the fuses first from long to short, depending upon how many shots they have, and they'd light them long or short. Now you have 1 minute to get out of here and go over in the haulage way and sit and wait for your shots to fire off. All shots fire off perfectly. Smoke clears, dust clears, all of that. Then you can go in and we come back in here and we do what we call dressing down. You take a bar and you pull all the loose coal still hanging on the top rock. And as you can see, it's not very big, that vein of coal. But everywhere where we take the coal out, we have to re-support with timbering. So those little timbers up there are what's helping to hold the roof above us up. The boards running laterally across there, they're called batter boards. That's where you put your feet on while you're working your way up here. And what you're going to do is, this is about 10 foot wide here. You're going to work this up about 50 more feet up, and then we're going to widen it out to a 60-foot section we call a box, which you'll see down in the other gangway down here pretty well. It's a good view of it. These are legs coming down here. We call them legs. What they do is they're holding up the roof. Now, if I told you we were up in, say, up in Scranton or in the bituminous fields of western Pennsylvania, all the veins lie flat. And what we would be in right now, where our roof would be a foot above our heads. So we would be down like this working. But because we're in this coal, in the different angles of the roof here. We have a good advantage for a nice gangway of being like 8 foot tall because of that section. These devices here sitting in the roof are called roof bolts. What they are is like a lag bolt, sort of. There's one right here on top of this timber right here. You can see it sitting on. It drills in about 5 foot. The machine drills it in, and what it does is when it tightens it down, it pulls that roof together real tight to give you really good stability. It doesn't take the place of timbering. You can't take any place of timbering where you take the coal out. You have to re-timber.
Hey, there's some miner's carpet.
Well, what you see here is an old rock cart.
Completely trademarked. Do not use without his permission.
That's right.
He wants royalties.
Now this brown stuff you see coming down over the roof here, that's called iron sulfate. What that is a very acidic substance. It comes from groundwater running down over the veins of coal and over the rock. This is what caused a lot of hatred about coal mining and the environment. Because back in the day, they used to pump this water directly right into the river streams and the creeks. And it would look like this down here, this brown substance here. I grew up in the late 50s and the early 60s right along the Schuylkill River. And I can't recall a day in my life when I was a kid that river wasn't black, brown, or orange. Anyway, this old mine phone here was in here from the very beginning. When you rang it, what happened was it would ring outside to the office and light a light up that said level 1. And then you could call out and you could ask for more timber, more lagging, more tools, more drills, whatever you needed in the course of the day. And
Get me out.
this mine has 3 levels to it. We're on level 1, 300 feet below us is level 2, and 300 feet below that is level 3. So it would light up as level 1 in that way. This is one of my favorites, the mine rat. Why do we talk about mine rats? Primarily because, there you go, mine rats have this uncanny ability to be able to detect seismic changes. So how they got into mines was because we used mules as the system of haulage, and a rat would hide in some hay and they would bring it in. And a month later, now we got 15 rats, and they just multiplied while they were down in the deep mines. A mine like this adrift, it would be hard for them to stay in here because they could get out. But in the drifts or in the slopes and the shaft mines, these guys were the miners' friends because they could detect that thing. So if we're all standing here and around the corner of the gangway comes a whole herd of rats and they're heading that way. Follow them. Don't hesitate. Say, where are they going? You know.
They're going out.
Come on down here. This 2 charts here give you a little bit of a better representation of what we're talking about. Sometimes when you're underground, you can't really tell what we're doing. But this is the Monoy Mountain. This is where we're at right now. We're 400 feet below the surface. As I said, we came in the haulage way here. By the way, that haulage way was cut from right here out because they could take the cars out to the top here, get on the Lokie and take it out to the breaker, which is at the end of the mountain, the Bancroft breaker. We come in here in the southerly direction. We stopped out there at the Mammoth. We were over here in the 7 foot. This is the Buck. The Buck was a really good working vein of coal and worked its way about 5 to 6 miles to the west of us here. And it had a lot of good chutes on it. The way this mining is done is it's called pitch vein mining due to the degree of the pitch of the vein of coal. We call this striking the vein. The first thing we do is we cut in. We leave a 60-foot section. We take out 60, leave 60, take 60, leave 60, take 60, leave 60. The 60-foot sections we leave in there are called pillars. That's what's holding the mountain up above us. If we took all the coal out at one time, we have a big problem. Mule barn, simulated mule barn of, remember I told you I had 10 working mules down here. I can't speak more highly enough than the mine mule. They should have a monument for these guys and girls because they work just as hard as any miners did and such. And they suffered just as much. The mule, extremely, extremely intelligent creature. Very, very strong. You know, a little cantankerous, as the saying goes, you know, stubborn as a mule. But what I love about them is when I talk to the old miners who worked with these guys and girls, was that they were vindictive. If you hurt them in any manner, shape, or form, the miners said they had a memory like an elephant. And they would watch for you and wait for you to come down a gangway. And old Molly here would lean up against you and press you up against the wall, or she'd stand on your foot, or she'd bite you. But if she really hated your guts, she would give you what the miners called both barrels. Both barrels is a full kick to the rear. So, get kicked by a 900-pound animal wearing steel shoes. You're going to remember that. Because these guys and girls, they can kick like 12 feet in the air. They're extremely good at that. They were taken care of by a bunch of young lads they called driver boys. It was their job to teach them how to work down here because you didn't use a bit, bridle, or reins. The boys walked beside the mule or rode on the bumper of the car and gave the mule commands such as waha, which meant turn left, and yee, which meant turn right. These lads were also poets and songwriters, and back in the 19th century, at some point, I don't remember the exact date, they wrote a really neat little ditty about their thing with the mules, and it was called My Sweetheart's the Mule in the Mines. And it goes, my sweetheart's the mule in the mines. I drive her without reins or lines. On the bumper I sit, and tobacco I spit all over my sweetheart's behind. #1 song, right? What happens here is they drove back to the wall back there, and it didn't work out so well. So they drove another 150, 200 foot down that direction. And what we have now is an empty gangway, say. But what they did was they left their tracks in here, on here, so that they could take the main cars off the main line and stick them in here, and they'd be out of the way. Now remember when I told you about firing off shots, how the old guys used the squib charges with the fuses. Today we use dynamite. Dynamite is much easier to work with because it's fired electrically with blasting caps and such. Same situation though, you put them inside the shot hole, you tamp them on in there, and you run the wires back out to a handheld detonator. Now you can walk around, you don't have to run out right away, because you can walk out here and you can yell out 3 times. Fire in the hole, fire in the hole, fire in the hole. And this is exactly what it'll sound like when you shoot shots off down here. So, it's not as loud as you would think it is, primarily because those shots are driven way inside the coal. You want the coal to break internally, you know. You ready?
Black hole cracker with Magnolia.
Housekeeping.
At least 100 feet. It's how they construct that. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. Oh, look up there, 1962. Holy crap. That is steep.
Wow.
That's what it looks like in the one
Everything's all penny.
off that shot.
Yeah.
Bricks were,
Mm-hmm.
but boy, is that falling in.
Okay.
That's really loose material, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't put it
Years ago, I
on.
went out there, it wasn't like that.
The problem with these cars is they don't have any brakes. So at any type of an incline or a decline in the track, the worst. When the time comes to load the car, what happens is the miner sends his assistant, his call is butty. So if you're ever from the coal region, you've heard that term 1,000 times, hey butt, or what? Butty, not butt. But he sends his butty up into the top of the chute. He opens up a couple traps up there, drives it down to the battery here where the miner's going to sit on the end of the battery here and drop his legs on the inside of the car. Now, if you guys turn your lights out, I'll show you what a working coal mine. Wow. Now, without having, we can't do it here without that. With all that extraneous light, still looks like we can find our way out of here. But if you didn't have your camera lights on and anything like that, you can't see 2 feet. You can't see your hand in front of your face, per se. But this is the way it would work out. So what would happen with the miners is they would just relight their lamps at the time because they did have matches with them. And they would also get down on the ground, find the track, put hand on one rail and the other hand on the other rail, and crawl out the middle of the track.
Oh. Hey, you're the one that eats all the Taco Bell.
My Bloody Valentine 3.
Yeah.
Hold on tight to me, bumpy ride.
Oh. I don't need to go to the chiropractor anymore.
left up here is a new gangway that the UGM guys mined out. Orchard Gangway. They re-timbered it and everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Claire.
Yep, you can see the
Yeah. We survived!
We're a lively group. He's coming to get us. Again.
Dude, can I have your job?
That's a good Halloween costume.
That'll be awesome.
That's perfect.
Thank you.
Good idea.
Thank you. Okay, so we survived the Pioneer Tunnel coal mine tour. Such a unique mine tour experience compared to other ones. It's my third one I've been to. If you want to see the other two, they will be linked down below in the description. Each one is unique in its own way. This one, though, was the roughest of the coal mine rides into the mountain. The footage, I know, was shaky like crazy. I was holding as tight as I could. All of us, our minds and our brains got scrambled up, but it made for a great experience. But now, we're going to be riding on the #1 Lokie there. So even though this is a longer video, don't go anywhere yet because we are doing the train ride next. You'll be able to see what that looks like, where it takes us to, and some of the information they share along that train ride. So we'll do that next, and at the end of the video, I will be doing a photo montage. But so far, fantastic time. Everyone's having a great time. A lot of laughs, a lot of jokes, a lot of good memories. So let's continue on. Okay, this train is waiting for us, so we're going to board it and take a ride on the Henry Clay. Let's see which train car we should take.
Worst case is going to be bring it back.
Another bumpy ride.
Hey folks, I'd like to welcome you to Ashland. Ashland's a town down below us. Typical coal region community. It was founded as a borough back in 1857. When they incorporated the borough, they chose the name Ashland to honor Senator Henry Clay from Kentucky. Might strike you as a little bit odd why it's a small town in Pennsylvania honoring a point some things out for you here at the end of the line. Looking over the railing and structure right here below us, that's a replica of an old bootleg coal mine. Bootleggers came into being in 1929 when the country was hit with the Great Depression. Most of the miners in the area were out of work, and at that time there were no government programs like unemployment or welfare to assist them. In order to survive, the men would come up on a mountain and start an operation like the one we have here. What we have on display is a three-man bootleg. One man will be lowered in that bucket down beneath the ground to mine the coal, and two men would wait on top. When the miner in the hole had the bucket full, he'd signal the men on top, they get on the windlass, crank the bucket to the surface, dump the coal out and send an empty bucket back down for the miner in the hole to refill. While the miner in the hole was refilling the bucket, the men on top would crack the coal and bag it. At the end of their workday, they'd take it downtown hoping to sell it for $2 or $3 a ton. What they couldn't sell, they used for heating and cooking in their own homes. They called it bootlegging because what the men were doing in the mountains of the county was illegal. They're actually stealing the coal that belonged to the coal companies that owned the land. Naturally, the coal companies were upset about that. So the coal companies would send the coal and iron police, their own police force, out to scour the mountains of the county looking for these operations. When the coal and iron cops found a bootleg mine, they get the miner up out of the ground, they throw dynamite down to blast the hole shut, and the men were then taken downtown where they went before the JP, and they were fined for stealing the coal. Because it was the Depression, the guys never had money to pay their fines, so they were then taken to our county jail in Pottsville. There are so many of these operations going on at that time in our history that our jail got really overcrowded, and the warden would have no choice but to release the miners the next morning after they had served just one night in jail. The guys would come home, reload their supplies, get back up on the mountain, and start all over again. Well, then it got pretty nasty in the area between the miners and the coal and iron cops. There were a lot of acts of violence, there were a lot of acts of vandalism. Some miners even went to the extreme of dynamiting the policemen's cars. The county government became concerned about this, so they hosted a series of meetings to try and resolve this. They decided at these meetings that if the miners would pay a royalty or a small amount of money for every ton of coal they get out of a bootleg to the landowners would be satisfied. That was also a satisfactory arrangement for the miners, and that's how the independent miners...
So the one thing that we learned is that this locomotive here came from the Vulcan Iron Works in Wilkes-Barre. It was constructed there. Actually ended up at a scrapyard, and they purchased it, and another one, two of them, they were saved and resurrected. They purchased it for $1,200 scrap value. They're now worth $250,000. It's one of the only Vulcan locomotives operating by anthracite today. Also, these cars, these passenger cars, were formerly coal cars. They used to haul loaded coal out of the mine to this location and go down a plane down the hill, like a vertical railway, to dump the coal down into the breakers. So we rode on the same actual cars that were used for hauling the coal, rode on the same line that took the coal to this location. And again, down the hill, down there was a big vertical ramp with rails and a big steam-powered hoist up here that would pull the cars up and down. But the coal would be dumped off here, go down the hill to the breaker to be processed, and loaded onto the Reading and Northern coal trains. So a lot of history here. I didn't share everything, didn't record everything that he's mentioned, but he talked about Centralia, talked about how this mine came about. A lot of details, a lot of information. I highly, highly encourage you to come here for yourself. Take the tour. It's going to educate you not only about coal mining, but the valley here of the town of Ashland, the equipment that's used, and the Centralia Mine Fire, which is just across the mountain there. We're going to be taking the train ride back, and then I'm going to be wrapping things up, let you know my final thoughts, maybe get some feedback from everyone else, and then we'll conclude with the photo montage. But this turned out to be a fantastic day. Beautiful weather. It's sweatshirt weather, so we're comfortable. Great group of people, more people than anticipated showed up, and I just can't say enough good things about today's event. So a little bit more to go, but we'll see you back on the train. Okay, so as you can see, we're walking along the rails here. That's because we got permission to come down here and film the train making another pass by. Imitation skipper.
Just not as graceful.
But yeah, the group of us are walking down here now. We're going to go past the crossing where he's going to lay on the whistle and put a little pressure on the steam locomotive, which will create some more billowing steam and smoke. So we're going to get down here, get set up, because the train's coming in about 3 minutes. And we'll get some nice footage of it coming by. And who doesn't want to see more train footage? I know I do, so.
Me, I do.
Yep. Winner, winner.
Chicken dinner.
So we'll see you guys in a second with the steam train rolling by. is behind the scenes of some YouTubers getting the footage. Doing what it takes. Geez, somebody give that guy a hand. Okay guys, so we were back at our vehicles because we completed both the coal mine tour and steam train ride. Everyone here, I'm pretty certain, had a great time. I know I did. Hopefully you did as well. If you weren't able to be here in person, hopefully this video made you feel like you were here with us, because that's what this is all about. Getting out, having a good time, meeting new people, having fun, making memories. But the day's not over. This video is ending, or you're going to want to keep your eyes open for another video of a bonus location today, where all of us are going to be heading to. As I mentioned down below in the description, you will find links to my previous mine tours at Lansford number 9, Lackawanna Coal Mine Tour, and of course I will try to provide links for all the people who attended today. If not, just search their names, but most of the people you do know, you've seen on the comments, you've seen in the chats, and it's great to see some new faces. And big special shout out to the gentleman who came from Altoona, and B-Sage all the way down from Kentucky. Fantastic that they decided to show support, come out, even we're rocking some JPVideos merchandise. Anyways guys, I want to hear from you. Comment down below, tell me what your favorite part of today was. Was it the coal mine tour? Was it the train ride? Was it the train footage? I had a blast filming it. Hopefully you did as well. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up. Now all I can say, if you're new to the channel, want to see more adventures like this, just subscribe, ring the notification bell, that way you'll be alerted each time I upload a new video. With that said, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for joining me today. And as always, RJ's being a goof. I'll see you in the next video.
Run.
Nailed it! So we're here at RJ's new rig, and he's got it decked out for Halloween time. Got a cute doggy in the passenger seat there. And riding in the back is someone we're going to find out who she is in the near future. Maybe she'll be at a future meetup. Oh, you didn't tell me she's an amputee.
Ain't got no legs. RG, we gotta get.
If you need a hand, he's got one right here for you.
See if I can fit.
At least you got company, but I heard she doesn't say too much.
Yeah.